curriculum and the methodology to allow the students to speak in English and to improve maybe their skills also in English. So the first part, I just want to maybe show this summary. The first part, I will describe you the French school system, so the entire French school system, from the kindergarten to the university. I will detail to you also the French Standard University, and because we have many schools, many universities, like specialized institutions that I want to describe you, and then I will describe also the like English and French schools and university, and the curriculum that the French teachers use in classes in French schools. And the final part will be the methodology, and I will show you a video about a Finland class. And because I choose Finland, because as I said before, actually Finland is has one of the best educational system of the world, and because it's located also in Europe, so maybe you can have another point of view from you will have a different perspective maybe, so that's why I have chosen Finland. Okay, the first part, the French school system and its equivalents. So first, the children in France, they started their journey into the school at 3 years old, approximately. It's 3 years old. Maybe certain children, they can start at 2 years old, but it's really, really young, 2 years old. But generally, it's 3 years old. I think it's the same case here in Indonesia. And so they started their journey into the school, and they go in the kindergarten. We call that l'école maternelle, and it's divided in 4 grades. So you can find la petite section, la toute petite section, la petite section, la moyenne section, et la grande section. So, and after that, they enter into the elementary school. The elementary school is divided in 5 grades. So you have la CP, la CE1, la CE2, la CM1, la CM2. So from grade 1 to grade 5. And then they enter into the middle school. So we call that le collège. So le collège is the middle school. And it's divided in 4 grades. So from the grade 6 to the grade 9, la 6e, la 5e, la 4e, et la 3e. And then, after college, after the middle school, they enter into the high school, which is divided in 3 grades. So, from grade 10 to grade 12, la seconde, la première, et la terminale. And after this high school, they have to they have a final degree, an exam, and if they have success this degree, they can apply for postgraduate schools and universities. So, okay, let's start with the French now standard university system. So the French standard university system is structured uniquely compared to some other countries, and it's funded by the states. So they provide a various So they provide a variety of programs at the undergraduate, graduated, or doctoral levels. And maybe now I can just describe you the different degrees for the postgraduate school. So the first one is called la licence. La licence is the equivalent to the license is the equivalent to the bachelor's degree, and it's divided in 3 years. So it lasts only 3 years, but here in Indonesia I know it's 4 years. Yeah, that's one of the differences that we have. After that, we have the master's degree, which lasts 2 years. So and after you have also the doctorate degree, which lasts 3 years. So if you want to have the doctorate degree, you have to study 8 years in total. And for the teachers, the English teachers in the university, actually they have to yeah, they need to have the doctorate degree. So they need 8 years of studies to be able to teach English. But of course, if you want to teach in high school, middle school, or elementary school, it's 5 years. You just only need the master's degree. Okay, and now, as I said, we have many specialized institutions. We have many universities. Of course, we have the standard universities that provide broad-ranging academic fields from science and humanities to law and medicine. But we have also, as in France we call that les grandes écoles. Les grandes écoles are elite institutions, and they are their standard university system are specialized in engineering, for example, business, public administration, and they are often more competitive and are generally considered prestigious. And also you have the Institute Universities of Technology, and they offer in 2-year technical and professional programs. Okay, now it's a plan of one of the best French universities that we have. The first one is the Paris University, PSL, and then we have the Sorbonne University. After that, the Polytechnic Institute in Paris. We have also the Paris-Saclay University, etc. So, as you can see, the most famous, maybe the best universities are located in Paris. But of course, you have other, you have also the best universities are also located in other cities, such as Marseille, Bordeaux, Lyon, Montpellier. So these cities are also really important, and they are really nice for the students, because you can have many universities and you have access to different kind of degree. So now I just wanted to describe you maybe the admission if you want to apply for the universities. You have to pass this diploma, the high school diploma that we call le baccalauréat. So the baccalauréat is really important, and if you don't pass this degree, you cannot apply you cannot apply in the university system. So and after that, maybe I can also describe you what the requirements to apply for les grandes écoles, maybe the elite institutions. Actually, it requires selective entrance exam admission to a standard university, and is usually based on back results. So back results are the results that you got in high school. And the admission to graduate programs, masters, may be more competitive, especially in popular fields or specialized programs. And of course, French universities have many partnerships with other countries, and it allows to the students from all over the world to come in our universities and to apply for the bachelor's degree, the master's degree, or the doctorate degree. We have this program that is, which is really famous, Erasmus+. It's a collaboration, a partnership with many countries from Europe, and actually many students from all over the world can come in France with that program. And now I just want to describe you maybe about the French educational system, but in English, what the students in French schools learn. So in English, the first in primary school maybe, the students begin with basic vocabulary, the greetings, the numbers, the colors, the sample sentences, to build foundational language skills. And then in middle school, it's maybe more formal because they focus on grammar, reading, speaking, and listening. In high school, the students continue their English studies, and of course they can choose English as their first foreign language or as the second foreign language. And by the end, the students generally aim to reach B1 or B2 level in English. And now, English in French universities. So, of course, in universities, English is part of the curriculum, and especially in fields like business, science, or engineering. And of course, English is really essential for many degrees, and some programs require students to achieve a certain level of proficiency. So it's often B2 level, B1, or C1 level. So now for the curriculum, actually the curriculum that the teachers, the French teachers that teach the English, they have to follow this curriculum. It's the 4 basic language skills, so they have to provide to their students these 4 language skills. The first one is the listening part, then we have the speaking, the reading, and the writing. So the listening part is the ability to understand and interpret spoken language. Speaking involves articulating thoughts, ideas, and opinions. The reading one is the process of understanding written language, and the writing part involves expressing ideas, opinions, and information. So maybe to illustrate this part, I want to show you a YouTube video. Maybe it will illustrate more in details what I have told you before. It's a short, I think, video. It's 5 minutes, I think. It's enough.
The signal is lost.
Oh, it's not good. Yeah, it's working.
Tunggu nih kok. Juru kunci.
Normally we can hear some music.
Yeah, there's a chance if you are using this. Sometimes you cannot listen to the sound.
Okay, so we can maybe just read the subtitles.
Yeah.
Setting mungkin ya setting.
In variant.
So this is actually the curriculum that the teachers have to follow. Learning, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, thank you for your attention.
It's very nice information.
So I just want to explain maybe by my own experience how the maybe English teachers they can help us to improve our skills. So for example, for listening, the listening skill, we used to listen many podcasts in class. We used to listen to native speakers, to discussions, for example. And after that, we have to just write what we have understand and just ask questions to our teacher. And yeah, this kind of things that we should do. For the speaking, maybe for the speaking skills, I think the most important part is about making presentation. We are making many English presentation during our English classes. So, and it's really helps us to improve our speaking skills. For the reading part, of course, the teachers, they want that we just read books. So, but I think they just, we cannot choose the book that we want to read. Like, they just select for us the book that we have to read. So yeah, and after for the writing part, we can write, of course, like essays or like these kind of things, or maybe we have like a problematic and we have to discuss about that, and we have to research maybe with like English books the topics of that. So yeah, we have these 4 basic language skills. And the teachers, they are giving us the tools to try to improve our listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. So now maybe I can just show you this one. This is the most efficient education systems in the world. This plan was published in 2012. So I think Singapore meets in this plan because Singapore has one of the best educational system also. But as you can see, Finland is one of the best, Korea, Czech Republic, Japan, Hungary. So to maybe finish my speech, and after we can discuss together. I just want to show you this video. It's an example of a finance school, and which is one of the best educational systems of the world. So I think it's a really interesting video.
It's an amazing space. There are no standard furniture. It's an open space where children can kneel, crawl, jump, sprawl on the floor. So it's not rigid, and I see the teachers moving around with the children and the children interacting quite freely. And it's actually not easy to tell which child has special needs and which doesn't.
Coba di sini kayak gitu ya. Ya. Coba di sekolahan sini kayak gitu ya, bagus ya. Orang-orangnya nggak bosan dengan belajar.
Saya gini lu bocah lompat-lompat rono malah suruh duduk ya.
Rather than spaces that don't really challenge children, because very often the students should focus
Jadi kabeh kono yang kono apa hanya Finland ya? Masuk Finland. Kayak anak aku seneng gaunan.
Belajar sambil bermain. Kembali lagi ke kolonial.
Seragam sekolah swasta.
Oh, kalau negeri di sana enggak.
Penting tujuan.
Aku orang merasa uniform Korea tok.
Indonesia. Amerika tuh kalau swasta di sini masih.
Kayak Amerika kan.
Uniform. Nah, justru di sana ternyata uniform tuh menunjukkan swasta mahal.
Betul warna-warni.
Oh, sudah gitu. Dewi kan kue miripnya memang Jepang, Korea, karena kan
Asia.
Satu berfungsi.
Tapi cara
guru di penyantai.
iya, makanya tank top dolan.
Dalam usia.
Itu katanya aplikasi apa sih?
Tinder.
Tapi kita nggak lihat secara atas. Baca terus ya. Pasti ada juga. Stuck sama dengan kelas nggak mau berkembang. Harus dari daerah juga.
Yes, okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you so much. So yeah, that was the last part, the example of an foreign school. I think it was interesting to see how they manage their school, and because it's different from maybe other like typical school that we can see. So yeah, do you have maybe questions? Maybe we can start our discussion together. What do you think?
Ryan. Do I have to use microphone?
Yes.
Yes. Orangnya kan just. Okay.
So thank you for the presentation. It was really nice. And yeah, I think we've all, if we work in educational sector, we've all heard about how amazing Finland is. But since this is a discussion, before I go to the question, I would like to give some context which maybe many of us have known, that Finland has a population of 5 million people. That's very small compared to the whopping 300 million population in Indonesia, which will make it harder to manage given the area as well, because we have all these 17,000 islands, but I think like around 3,000 of them are populated, which means that there are people living in all these different places. And while it is inspiring to see how Finland manage their education system, I would also like to shed the light that in Indonesia, I believe in bigger cities, big cities like Jakarta, Surabaya, Semarang probably, I'm sure that there are great schools kind of like similar to that, but we have more that is not like that because of the big populations that we have. So this is another challenge, how it's difficult to make education equal somehow. Government is trying to do this by, I think they're inspired by Finland, how in Finland, because I read some books about education system in Finland and how they do not have favorite schools. They try to make every schools in every district equals. So the idea is that every parent should just send their children to the closest school to their area instead of going to a school far away, which is like a favorite school because it's better. So they try to make every school equal so that parents will not have to go to send their children far away just because they think that that school is better. Indonesia is trying to copy that in that sense. I think the intention is good. The execution is really hard. So it's all messed up in the beginning when they try to make zones. Like parents should just send their kids to the school zones next to their area. It's all really messed up. The problem is because these schools are not equal. They don't have the same facilities. They don't have the same qualified teachers. I'm sure every teacher tries their best, but the outcome is not the same. So the problem is this, I would say like smart students, talented students from a remote area, for example, they cannot go to a better school that is a different district from their area, and they are stuck with whatever they have near their village. So that's what's happening. So we have been trying to do, and our government thinks that they're trying to do their best to make every school equal, but they forgot to provide the same infrastructure and equal facilities to each school before forcing students to go to the schools in that district. So Indonesian government, thanks for the effort. No thanks for the effort. So that's the context, like what is happening. We are aware of this, and also thank you for shedding the light to the education system in France as well. France has 67 million populations, yeah, 67, 65, yeah. So it's bigger than Finland, it's smaller than Indonesian populations, and also you have like small islands as well, but basically everyone lives in the mainland. Probably it's also easier to make education system kind of equal compared to Indonesia. Like in Java Island with the Papua Island, it's gonna be really hard to make it equal. Unless, first of all, they have to make sure there is no corruptions first, but it's a different story. To make sure that the funding, yeah, if they want to make it equal, they have to first of all eradicate the corruption so that the funding can go equally to different places. But this is a discussion for a different topic. Education field is hard. Now to the question. I have two questions. The first one is a general question based on your presentation. The second one will be a personal questions. You can answer if you want, but if you don't want, I will respect you. So the first question is the general questions. I'm very interested in multilingualism and how human can master different languages and speak in different languages. For Indonesian, they are naturally multilingual because in different provinces, almost every different provinces has its own language. So we will naturally speak our own like regional language. It's not even a dialect, it's a completely different language. Like when we're in Java, we speak the Japanese language, but if you go to West Java, they have their own set of language called the Sundanese language. It's a completely different language. And then we will all over Indonesia, it's like that. And then we speak Bahasa Indonesia. So basically, every Indonesian will be bilingual. And then if they go to school, they will somehow learn English. In your experience, first of all, how many languages do you speak? And what is your experience learning them? At what stage, like what age did you start learning a second, third, probably language? And just tell us your experience in general. Second of all is the personal questions. I've heard and also read some news about Muslims in France and how religious symbols are not allowed in public. Basically, I love traveling and I would really love to go to Europe someday, especially France. There was this era when I was in junior high school, I was really obsessed with learning French and just France in general. In high school, I learned French for a year in high school and then German for 3 years. And yeah, basically I just love learning languages. But now I'm afraid that because religious symbols are not allowed, at least that's what I read in the news. So tell me if I'm wrong. So how easy would it be to navigate, if you are traveling solo, for example, or doing backpacking as a Muslim woman, going around France and Europe in general, but especially France because it's forbidden there to wear religious symbols. And also about the safety, I heard a lot of like pickpocketing, like just some group of women would like force you and then you will fall, someone will take your wallet, stuff like that. Just the safety in general. Thank you. Sorry for the long.
You're planning to go to France.
Sorry for the long questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all of that and what you have said. It was really interesting, I think. So your first question was about how many languages I speak
and how
I can, like when I just started to learn these languages. So my native language is the French language. So I started to learn French since I was in France. So I was in France at 1 year old. So when I was really young, and I just started to learn French language in school, of course, and with my friends. Because with my family it's different, because actually my family are Bosnian. So with my family I speak Bosnian. So I would say that my second language is Bosnian.
Beautiful too.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, with my family I speak Bosnian, and with my friends and in school I speak French. So my second language, as I said before, is Bosnian. And I would say that maybe my third language actually is English. So I'm still learning English, of course. And so how I learn English, maybe I started, as I said, in French, we start to learn English in the elementary school. We start with the basic conversation, just to know the numbers. Yeah, maybe in the second grade, I would say. And after I just learn in middle school, in high school, also in university. And I also learn a little bit in Spanish, the Spanish language. And I choose because when you are in high school, you can choose 2 foreign languages. My first foreign languages was English, and my second one was Spanish. So that's why I also learned a little bit of Spanish. And so now I'm in Indonesia, and I want to learn also. I'm trying to learn Bahasa Indonesia. And I have just some Javanese words in my mind also. It's still difficult for me to learn. I don't know, it's so different from French or English, but I think it's, like everyone says, it's easy. It's an easy language.
At least the letters are the same.
Yeah.
The same alphabets.
The alphabets is the same, so I think it's just a process, a long process, but I hope that I will achieve it, inshallah, I hope. Yeah. And your second question was about my experience. I don't remember, I'm sorry.
How safe it is to travel around as a Muslim woman with hijab on.
Thank you, because it's a really interesting question. Being a Muslim woman in France, I will say it's not really easy, honestly, because first of all, as Muslim, we are a minority. We are 5 million of Muslims. So, but in Europe, actually, we are the most populated community. Like we have the most populated Islam community in France, but we are still a minority in France. So, in France, maybe the first religion is Christianity, and then is Islam. So, but in France, like 50% of the population are atheists, so they don't believe in any god. So they have this mindset, and so talking about religion sometimes in France can be like taboo, I will say. And how we can deal with that as Muslim women? So yeah, as you said before, you're really right. We have many laws that are against Muslim, especially against the wear of religious symbols in schools. So since 2004, I think, the French government, they banned the wear of the hijab. So it started in the elementary school to the high school. And you can only wear the hijab in university. So you have to take off your hijab when you're entering in middle school, in elementary school for the little girls, or in high school. And also we have other laws that ban the wear of hijab. For example, in swimming pool, the public swimming pool, you cannot wear the burkini, it's forbidden. And also, for example, I have another law in my head, the soccer players, the Muslim women, the soccer players, they cannot wear hijab during the competitions because it's forbidden. They have to take off their hijab. And also maybe you have here during the Olympic Games in 2024, this year, our athletes, the French Muslim athletes, they were not allowed to wear the hijab during the competitions. No, I don't know to pronounce, I'm sorry.
It's okay,
yeah,
you're doing great.
So it's really like paradoxal because the other athletes from other countries, they can come with their hijab, of course, because it's their freedom. They can do like, you are a woman, you can wear whatever you want, you can wear hijab or not.
Or whatever you don't want.
Oh yeah, or whatever you don't want to wear, of course. But in France, they decided to just, ban the hijab for the Muslim athletes. So yeah, I think being a Muslim woman, especially a Muslim woman, is kind of hard in France because it's not just the Muslim woman, it's also maybe being a Muslim, I think. Because, for example, I just want to maybe talk again about Muslim women because I'm wearing hijab in France, so I will talk about my own experience. Like now, I'm studying psychology, so I can wear the hijab. But, for example, if I want to pray, it's really hard for me to pray because we don't have any prayer rooms available in our university. You cannot find this. Or you cannot find any prayer rooms in our city or in the country. We have many mosques, of course, but for example, in my case, the mosque is really far away from my university, so it's complicated for me just to pray. So yeah, I have to go in the stores and to find the fitting rooms. Actually, that's true. And I have just to choose like one. I pretend to buy clothes, but I just pray in the fitting rooms. That's an alternative that we have. Also, what is difficult also to find halal food, of course. We have just maybe 4 in my city. I come from Besançon. It's near from Switzerland. In my city, we just have...
Must be really
yeah, it's the most beautiful country and beautiful landscapes. It's a really beautiful country. Really, I love it. And yeah, we have in my city, Besançon, like maybe 5 restaurants with halal food. So it's nothing, I will say. But alhamdulillah for that, of course. But I think, like finding halal food is still difficult for us. But of course, we don't have to complain about our situation. We have many Islamic institutes in France. We have like really great teachers that are here, and we have a really supportive Islamic community. So I think it's still okay. And I think when you are a community, when you are supporting each other, it's make you more stronger. So I think it's what's actually like it's helping us to just fighting against this all of these laws, I will say. Yeah, thank you for your question.
Thank you for the answer.
So in short, it's safe, right, for us Muslim to
Yeah,
live in.
if you want to come in France to visit or to study in France, it's of course safe for you. We have many Muslim and we are living.
Let's go.
I will say
Tomorrow, yeah.
Let's go tomorrow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Meeting point
But
here.
just to remind you that it will be really more difficult than in Indonesia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
So my question is about, I'm curious about any field of working environment. Is it safe for us if we want to still wear our hijab as a Muslim, but maybe for different area of the working environment, there are some brands.
So it depends on the company, but because actually all of the French company, they will not allow you to wear hijab. It depends on the company. Certain companies, they will allow you to wear the hijab. So it's more like the international company, but the French company, usually that's the one who will ban the wear of the hijab. So yeah, it's also difficult to wear the hijab when you want just to work. Like for example, we have this example, like, and this case, like the Muslim woman, after their master's degree or their doctorate degree, they have difficulties just to find a job because they're wearing hijab and because they're not allowed to work with their hijab in France. And we have many cases where this woman, this educated woman with really brilliant studies, they have to go to other countries such as England, Canada, or Germany, Switzerland, because in France they cannot wear hijab in the companies that they want to work.
Okay, so is this your first time in Indonesia?
Yes.
When you first arrived, how's your impression? Like in this university, every building, like every floor, there is a prayer room, I guess. Like even the dean probably has this prayer room inside his own office. And halal food everywhere, mosque everywhere. What was your first impression?
I was so, like my heart was so, I don't know how to say, but you know when you don't have to think about these things, and it's just like, how to say, yeah, I was surprised because I know that on social media, like here, it's more religious and you have access to everything as Muslim. But I was so, it was a nice feeling really, because I was not I was not thinking about where I have to pray, where I will take my wudu, where I will eat, you know.
And this box of food or halal. You don't have to think what's in it.
I was not overthinking. I was just like living my life as a Muslim, as like a normal person. Yeah. Easy life.
So you can actually use your energy to direct it to something else instead of
exactly, like
thinking
my
about
energy.
halal food.
Exactly. I have more energy, I think, now. I can invest this energy in school, university, my volunteering journey, so that's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. And will is the extra in curriculum for this? Or
Finally, we are going back to curriculum.
Maybe, you can share your own experience here in Indonesia. Maybe it will be really interesting for me just to know how you manage your school, like your classes, like if you can describe maybe your day in the university or something like that, because I'm really interested on that.
And for all of the lecturers, Bu Norma, Bu Ubi, Pak Adam, Bu Raida, and Ms. Ryan, if you want to talk more with Nadin, asking something or maybe sharing something for Nadin, you can visit Nadin's house in PSR 2. So you can talk to her in any kind of case that you want to know about France or maybe for other countries.
Yes,
if they visit you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Just visit her.
Free time, so just come.
Yeah.
Eat them first.
Miss
Ryan. It was interesting listening to for your experiences in France. I just want to share about the educational system in schools. Yeah, here. For
is also heard of senior high
yes,
school.
She's a
I have
headmaster.
a foundation for
She's Albus Dumbledore.
Islamic education. Yeah, from my parents. Yeah, in my school foundation, there are many habits here for encouraging the students to fill in that to know that we are in religious school and the students need to do some rituals, Islamic rituals like recitation for Quran and then prayer for duha together and then like Asmaul Husna recitation together also. And are there any activities like that in schools in France? Perhaps we can also adapt here, especially for Islamic schools, and then for encouraging using speaking more actively in class or outside class, because the students here, especially in senior high school and junior high school, are really embarrassed to say using English. So can you please give us suggestions or any experiences that you have when you were in school, senior high school, or in middle school, I think. Thank you.
Thank you for the next question.
Yes, thank you for your question. So maybe I will give my opinion, and it's about my own experience as a student in France. I will say that the most difficult part is in English class to not talk in our native language, which for you is Indonesian and which for me is French. And the most common mistake that our French teacher also made is to talk in French in an English class. But you have maybe to try to just speak only in English from the beginning to the end of the class, because it will just help the students to listen in English and they will be focused on that, and after they will put more efforts to speak in English, So maybe the first one, I should be recommended to just speak in English the most. And if they have like question, you can maybe help them with like a dictionary or something with the vocabulary, because usually when we don't know a word in English, we ask our teacher and they give us a dictionary, and after we just look at the dictionary, and after we just make the whole sentence in English. So and of course maybe what is important, it's also about making different activities during the class. So maybe one day you can just make you can focus on speaking skills, the other class maybe on reading, on writing, just do like different activities, because after, if you're doing the same activities like for a long moment, I think your students will be maybe bored on that. So maybe try to also, what is going to help us is to share something that they like, because of course when they are interested on that, they will be more focused and they will be more motivated. So try to maybe try to focus on what they can maybe you can try to ask if they have like hobbies or certain things like that, to learn more about your students first, and after you can manage with what they like your class. Thank you for your question.
Are there any mandatory activities that the government has to ask for the schools to implement in their institution? Like, example, in school here, activity like literacy for reading a book like that, or what other mandatory activities that the schools has implemented in the students, like what?
It's the same case in France. The English teachers, they just want for the students that we read more, so they are giving us recommendations books to read more in English. Maybe I will say it's about, yes, for the speaking skill, it's making presentation in front of everyone. So, for example, we have this topic that we have during our English class. It's about going abroad, or how we can maybe apply in an international university, this kind of topic that we have. And we have to describe, for example, in our own case, where we would like to go. So, for example, in my case, I can describe in English if I want to go in Indonesia, how I can come, and I just have to describe all of the process. Maybe for the speaking skills, it's about listening comprehension, listening native speakers talking, and this kind of things. And maybe reading. It's about, as I said, books, reading books, this kind of things. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
I try. It's about my own experience. So I'm not a teacher. So of course I don't have this this amount of baggage. Maybe when you're a teacher, more things. I will say, but I try to explain as my own experience.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadin. Actually, I'm so curious about this one because this is also surprised me. Although I'm Indonesian and I was an Indonesian teacher, but this has very surprised me because several weeks ago I just known that for the senior high school, not all of senior high schools in Indonesia have standardized listening assessment for their final exam. Is it true? Is that true?
Standardized.
Yeah, standardized assessment for the listening for the senior high school before the students go to the university or college. And actually, this very surprised me because when I was in my senior high school, there are some listening assessment for the final exam. But now that is not exist anymore in Indonesia. My question is, what about in education system in France? Is there any kind of standardized that must be obeyed by all of the institutions or all of the level, or the standardized is only implemented for the local area or maybe for some local schools or institutions, or how the government manage the standardized?
Yeah, in French.
That's all your
Yeah, but based on my own experience, in French we have a standard educational system for English in every school. So, for example, in high school, you have to, if you want to apply in university, you have to be able to, to pass an exam. You have to prove that you have the B2 level. It's this.
Oh, you are using CEFR?
Yes.
So,
after the high school, you have to be able to speak, to write, of course, in English, and you have to prove that you have the B2 level. That's the standard. Yeah.
I see. Because actually, I was surprised when my students said, we do not have any kind of listening assessment when we are in senior high school. So when they graduate from the senior high school, it kind of guarantees that they can listen English really well.
Yeah, and they do not have to provide any proof of proficiency whatsoever. They just come to university and become our university.
Need to person to practice their speaking a lot and maybe writing, and then for the total test over, they will take the first. Wow, that's a listening technique. It seems like there is an exam in the high school that they have.
There used to be, but I think since the previous ministry, they erased. He erased the national examination.
When I was in my senior high school, there is a listening for the final exam. I still remember about that, but
Integrates with
Integration. In French in high school, you have a final exam, and you have all of the subjects. You have the French language, the English language.
Is it nationally standardized or national? Yeah, we used to have that until I don't know a few years after I graduated, and then until 2015, and then afterwards, 2016 onwards, it was.
So what do you think about this situation? As a teacher.
Special situation.
Very, very
Yes, I think this is downgraded one.
Yeah.
Project.
I think it's the
Us.
yeah.
All the members
Yeah, I
have
think-
different ideas.
Yeah, I think I don't know. They meant well. I don't know their intention,
Yeah.
but I think the philosophy, the initial thought was that the reason why they. I try to be careful with my words, so it's hard. So, yeah. Okay. So they